How is everyone feeling today? Whew. Okay, thanks everyone for coming down for the AI Dev 2 demo night. Let me stand here. This is basically the third edition. We have been doing this for the past year in collaboration with AWS, and the goal is to gather the best AI builders in the API and SDK space to show you guys the best technology and also the best developer experience. So without further ado, maybe I'll invite someone from AWS to do a quick sharing. Oh, where's the person? I guess we'll get to that later. It happens. But also, before that, I also like to thank Dmo, who'll be helping us to video this entire experience and take photos. So probably can check in with him later. So to kick things off, I'm also want to do a quick introduction. I'm also the co-founder of Sampleapp.ai. And to kick things off, I have my co-founder Sean from Sampleapp.ai to share with you guys what I've been doing. And after that, we'll move on to Temporal right after that. So Sean, please.
Thanks, Jun. All right. So today, Sampleapp.ai, we are going to share like a really exciting product that we've been working on for a few months now. So at Sampleapp.ai, we are trying to create a Stripe-like sample app experience. So what does that mean? I'll explain that in a little bit, but let's first talk about our history. So for like the past year, we were working with companies like Statsig, Auth0, Neo4j, and Zoom, and we were trying to build a prompt-to app for them. The vision was simple. We felt that developers would want to go to a platform, explain their use case, and get a custom sample app built on the spot, integrating the company's API and showing how it can solve their use case. Kind of simple, but I think along the way, we realized that developers just want sample apps. And they don't just want sample apps. They want sample apps that are explainable, interactive, and instant. What does that mean? Explainable means that it's easy to understand this sample app, that is relevant to a developer's use case. Interactive as in being able to try out the sample app and experience the power of the API and SDK. And instant. Not having to clone from GitHub, not having to figure out where to set up the environment variables, copy a command, paste it, it's running right out of the bed. So we tried to search for a solution like this. We tried to build our own, and along the way, we stumbled upon this company, Stripe, the gold standard of developer experience. Stripe is successful for a huge reason, like due to their fantastic developer experience. Specifically, they have this incredible sample app experience on their platform. And I'll just go ahead to show you guys what I mean by that. So when you go to Stripe's website and you go to click on any of the apps, they have this code quick start. And the power of this code quick start is not just the app here. It's the fact that as you scroll through, it highlights the relevant parts of the app or of the code to that particular description. So for example, being able to configure payment methods, you need to use this specific function. To load, to load Stripe, you have to use, to fetch a payment intent, you have to use this specific parts of the code. And the best part is, once you go to the bottom, when you hit a couple of toggles, you can see how it instantly updates the application. And this happens in a single interface. As a developer, being able to go to this platform, being able to understand that just by clicking around, I can immediately know what Stripe is doing and be able to customize it, that is super powerful. And not just that, once you are ready to integrate this, all you got to do is just hit a button and you have the code base downloaded instantly. All right, let me go ahead and present. Okay. So that's why we built Guardian. Guardian is our new product, And essentially what it is a Stripe-like sample app experience. So whatever you just saw in the previous demo of Stripe, we thought, what if we recreated that and gave it to the masses, gave it to every single API SDK company to allow every single API SDK company to have Stripe-like sample app experience. And this is how you set it up. So after logging in, all you got to do is import your GitHub repository. So I'm just going to import my docs and then pick the frameworks that you want your sample apps to be in. So here I'm just going to pick the first 5. And once you hit generate sample apps, our AI basically generates the sample apps on the fly, reading your documentation, understand what kind of sample apps will be relevant to developers and in these frameworks. And once it's done, you'll basically have so you can see that it's done. And then once I hit view sample apps, you'll get something that looks like this. So in this demo, I'm just going to showcase Scalekit. It's one of the off companies in the Bay. And I'm just going to click on one of these apps here. So very similar. You can see that once I'm in, I am able to kind of scroll through the code base, and it highlights the relevant parts of the code to this particular description. I can even change between the different use cases, and I can even change between the different frameworks over here. And okay, let's see if I can do this with one hand. So the next thing I can do is all right, let's try this out. This sample app, okay? Once you hit enter, it gives you an instant response using AI, baked in AI chat, and a developer can use this interface to be able to ask questions about the code base and understand what's going on. And this happens all on one platform. And over here, you even have an application that you can kind of scroll through. Let's see. Okay. So this is a live application that a developer can go on and press login, and then it'll bring you through the entire Scalekit process. And this happens in a single interface. So instead of having to clone it locally, set up your env keys, I can just run it out and test it out in browser. And when I'm done, I can just hit this command, copy, open in cursor, and basically just, all right, no, this is my own code base. Hold on. All right. Okay. And then I can just run a single command and it will download the data. All right. Okay, hold on. Let's try this out. All right. For those that can't see, okay, so if I hit this command, give me a minute. cd10.2. I think I got that right. All right, great. So you can see that it cloned all of the files that was in that code base and is installing the dependencies. And then once it's done, you have a guided walkthrough where it will explain to me that I can get this env from this particular place. And all I got to do is hit yarn dev and I have an app running instantly. Cool. So let me just hit back. So the next generation of Guardian, which we are currently actively working on, is being able to have toggles which will control the app on the right-hand side. So what's happening here is we are showing a demo of Launch Darkly. For those that know feature flags, essentially it's able to enable or disable certain features on your application. So what I just showed over there is that once I press this toggle or feature flag, you can see that originally it showed the short labels. Okay, and then once I hit a toggle, it will trigger the feature flag and now update the code base to now show the verbose labels. And the next part of this is one of their flagship product, which is this automatic rollback system. So you can see here that I can hit crash app and the number of users will gradually start to increase because we're trying to simulate a ton of users. And once it hits a certain number, the service will basically crash. But they have an automatic rollback system which will kick in, and you can see that now it's rebuilding the preview. and just like that, it's done. So besides just being able to see the app, like you can also read like a guide, and you can even like ask a couple of questions through the AI chat. So yeah. So Guardian, this experience is interactive. It keeps the sample apps always up to date, supports multiple frameworks and multiple use cases, and has clear explainable steps with code highlighting. And we are bringing this experience to the masses starting today in closed beta. And the experience that you saw is available across all of the most common documentation providers: Gitbook, Minify, Fern, README, Docusaurus, Next.js, you name it, we support it. And that's it. So if you're interested, please book a demo, press playground in the form. We would love to hop on a call to share with you what this experience would look like for your company. And also, lastly, there is AWS Gen AI Loft feedback form. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean. Now I would like to invite Melissa for Temporal for the demo.
Thank you. Does this not work? Hello? Okay. That's fine. I think I can hold it. If not, I will ask you to be my stand. Hello, everyone. Ooh, there. Let me just make sure we're all connected here. Okay, perfect. I don't want to show that quite yet. Hello, everyone. My name is Melissa. I'm a developer advocate at Temporal. Raise your hands who's heard of Temporal before. Okay, that's quite a few folks. Keep your hands up if you've actually used Temporal or did a sample app with Temporal. And the number goes to almost 0. Got it. So I'm here to try to change that and show what the value of Temporal is and how easy it is to get started, and kind of get us to wrap our head around the mental model and programming model that is Temporal. So here I have in front of you a deep research agent. It's using actually the OpenAI Agents SDK. And I'm going to kick off a temporal workflow. And I do that by asking, first giving a topic of what I want to research. So shout out a topic to research. Okay. I was going to go for like koalas or something, but that will work too. All right, so I'm going to refresh my temporal UI here on the right, and we see it's kicked off a temporal workflow. And now it's going to start going, but not quite yet because we don't have a worker running. So what I just introduced was a temporal workflow, which is basically kicking off the actual action of the application. But we also need something called a temporal worker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my terminal, and I'm going to run the worker. And you can see immediately it's kicked off. On the timeline, you see some events appear, and it's kicking off a triage agent, which is going to be doing a few things for us in this deep research flow. So first thing it's doing is it's going to triage the agent and find the next agent to do some clarifying questions. So it's going to ask us a few things here, and here we're doing some human in the loop. So it's saying, what aspects are you interested in? Just tell me more. We're being vague. Tell me more about it. Are you looking for practical? Oh, yeah, let's do best techniques and practices. And you can see as I submit each of those answers, a new event is appearing there on the timeline. That's it signaling my workflow that we've received a human response. So not only are we just getting one paragraph response from the agent, but we're actually having a conversation and implementing the agentic loop here in a temporal workflow. And so for this third one, it's asking, is there a specific industry or field? I don't know, let's say for retail. And on the third one, take a quick look at the timeline here. Notice how the other one's completed almost instantly, but for this one, it's gone red. Now, why is that? This could be anything like an API has timed out, a network failure, something that might have failed in the process. And you could see that it's actually trying to attempt that. That is the beauty of Temporal. When you wrap your steps in your workflow in what's called temporal activities, these are all safely retried. So whenever something like that occurs, Temporal will automatically handle that for you, and the user on the left side does not see any failure occur in the UI. So I can actually see in real time after this attempt, now it's gone green, and I can click into that activity and see what's happened. I can scroll down and see the exact stack trace of where the error occurred, and we actually see that we had simulated that error ourselves, but in a real use case, when an API fails and other things like that, then you would not worry about that from the user's front. And now what's going to happen here is that it's kicking off the agents. Now the actual work has occurred. But, let me simulate another type of error. What if your cluster went down or your hardware just completely blew up, because that happens and all of your code is just living on one machine? Yeah. So now you see that more and more of this orange is appearing. But again, on the left side, nothing has went down. The workflow is still continuing to go. And from the user front, they're not seeing any error. And from your end as well, you can also be ensured that your code will continue to retry until the error has subsided. If there was a bug in the code, I can go in and fix that error. And all that needs to happen is I'm going to just redeploy the worker, maybe on some other machine, maybe just spin it back up, maybe fix that bug. And in a few seconds, you should see that the orange will then turn to green, and none of the error has appeared on the user interface side, and the workflow itself hadn't crashed, and it's going to continue its process to execute all the way to completion. This right here is what we call durable execution. So durable execution is executing your code all the way to completion, even in the face of failure. And as a developer, why this is valuable to you is that you can code your application as if these failures don't exist. As long as you're wrapping your code in the temporal workflow structure. And I could show you what that looks like real quick. Oh, and there's our report here on the side. You just need this decorator and wrap it in workflow run decorator. And this is all just code. And so here in particular, we're using the OpenAI Agents SDK. And so if any of these steps, as you see, they've reflected in the timeline, if any of those were to fail, Temporal retries it, and you don't have to implement or worry about any of the retriable logic yourself. That is the beauty of Temporal, and that is what we mean by durable execution. And so on the left side, we also called the OpenAI image generation API here as well. OpenAI image generation is also built on Temporal. So I'm getting the call to cut it off now. But we are an open source platform. We allow developers to code the happy path, and we're available in many SDKs. Here are some QR codes if you would like to learn more. The repository for the deep research agent. We have a community Slack open for more questions, and our community code exchange, and I'll be here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Hi, someone here left a badge. Kam Wong, Kam Wong. Okay. Okay, all right. Next up, we have Marine from you.com. Marine, please.
Hello, everyone. Hello. All right. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, super excited to be here. All right. Let me see. Can you guys see my screen? Hello. Hold on. All right. Slideshow. All right. Okay. First off, who here is part of Founders Bay? Awesome. All right. So I'm Marianne. I run a community of 150,000 founders, VCs, and operators here in the Bay Area called Founders Bay. We do a lot of events to bring the whole tech community together, and we've grown really fast in the last few years. And I'm also the head of DevRel at U.com. At U.com, we're building the AI search infrastructure. We just raised $100 million. We're backed by Salesforce, and we're a unicorn. So what do? So search is transforming of the age of AI. Traditional search is no longer working for AI agents. Like soon, there's going to be more AI agents surfing the web than actual humans. The problem is search is very shallow and has been architected and built for human browsing, but not AI agents. Well, that's what we are solving. Who are we? So our founders were basically they were the ones who invented prompt engineering at Salesforce, and they've been working in LLMs for over a decade, and that's how they created U.com. So we really are the AI search infrastructure built for the AI era. We do accurate, in-depth, real-time search, and we provide APIs for all of you to use so you can build your products on top of them. We support the world-leading AI teams, so we serve over 1 billion query a month, and over 57% of Fortune 500 companies are using us. Some of our customers include OpenAI, so we power OpenAI's real-time search, Alibaba, DuckDuckGo, The Telegraph, Amazon, Windsurf, Harvey, Databricks, etc. All right, so what do? So you can build AI search infrastructure with our search API. We also do vertical specific indices, and we also do AI factory as a service. So if you want to build your own agents with your own RAG, we have a private RAG, and we have zero data retention. All right, I wanted to just show you a sample app of what we built here. So we use Sampleapp to do that, but they are using our API, and they build this search. As you can see, it's all real-time web search, and you can customize the search however up you want. You can say, okay, bring me the results for the last 7 days. And then you can also say, hey, tell me the search for this website. So let's say, who here is a developer, by the way? Awesome. Let's say you're doing a bug. If you go put it on Google, maybe you're going to get a result of the bug like 3 years ago. But sometimes you have a bug, let's say with AWS or Node, and you want to search specifically on websites related to like the AWS documentation. You can do that with our APIs. So I really encourage you to try it. You can get free 100 API credits. And then here, if you want to learn more or you want to get a personalized demo of our API, you can scan the QR code, enter your email and LinkedIn, and then one of our amazing sellers or myself can come in and chat with you. Also, I am hiring a DevRel engineer for my team who's very passionate about open source. So if you know how to code and want to contribute to open source communities, please feel free to go to u.com for our job page and apply to come work with me. It's an awesome company to be at. All right. Thank you, everyone. Awesome. Okay, I want one picture for my company. Do you want to take a picture? Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Scalekit. Scalekit, please.
Comms test. Everyone can hear me? Alrighty. Great, that's good. Hi, everyone. My name is Hashir, and I'm a software engineer at Scalekit. Scalekit is the authentication. Scalekit supports the authentication infrastructure for AI applications. We support enterprises and organizations, whether it's their B2B SaaS apps, their MCP servers, or their AI agents. And we support them through providing their passwordless methods such as magic links, OTPs, social logins, as well as passkeys, and along with enterprise SSOs, depending on whatever IDPs you guys have. And more specifically for MCP servers, we support OAuth 2.1 protocol management along with dynamic client registration. Depending on what client you guys use, you guys can sign into your MCP servers and we'll manage them. And we'll showcase some of these features through the use of a project management MCP server called Coffee Desk. So Coffee Desk is basically a project management tool for organizations to manage their projects and their tasks. And we'll showcase 3 use cases in this demo. So first thing is we're going to authenticate into the MCP servers through the use of the Okta IDP. We'll enforce user scopes and permissions. So we'll be seeing a intern from FooCorp Enterprises log into Coffee Desk, and we'll see what they can and cannot do in the MCP server. Along with that, we'll showcase how they register the client. So let's get right into it. And over here, we have MCP Jam. That's going to be our client of choice. Let's see. All right, and I'm going to register my MCP server right here. I'm going to enter its name. And since it's hosted remotely, we are going to use the HTTP connection. This is pretty hard to do with one hand. And we'll be logging in using the OAuth 2.0 authentication, and we'll add server. So basically, we see this login page, and this is powered by Scalekit. And the layout, the color scheme, the logo, Coffee Desk was the one that enabled it. And we'll log in as Nate Smith, the intern at FooCorp. So as you can see, FooCorp actually uses Okta's IDP, and we'll be logging in using Nate's credentials. And once Nate is logged in, Coffee Desk or the MCP server will be requesting permissions. So basically, whatever you can do in the workspace, that's going to be what it's requesting, and I'll click Authorize. All right, and just to give you guys some context, we basically have Coffee Desk right here. And if I click Sign In, so that's the fun thing about enterprise SSOs. When you're logged in one place, you're logged in everywhere else that you have access to. So just for context, we have projects and we have tasks. And we have 9 projects and 4 tasks, and we're gonna go ahead and test that out in the playground provided. Nice thing is that we get to choose our model of choice, and I'm gonna choose Claude Sonnet. I'm gonna say, show me my projects on Coffee Desk. And it's going to be thinking. All right, and we see basically the tool get invoked because that's what the MCP server provides, and we see that. So we see 9 projects, and we see them at different levels. All right, and we see one that's assigned to Nate Smith, and maybe Nate thinks that this project's actually done, and he wants to delete the project. So let's say delete the mastering work project. So basically, it tries to invoke the tool, and it says error, insufficient permissions, you need data write scope to delete projects. And because Nate's just an intern, he's not able to do that. And Claude just says you don't have the necessary permissions to perform a delete operation. And just to be sure, let's check the dashboard. So we're gonna just refresh that, and we realize we still have 9 projects. Nothing got deleted, nothing got changed. And yeah, as we can see, Nate's only able to view the projects, but not able to edit or delete them. So that's basically the end of my demo. And if you guys want to know more about Scalekit and what we offer, this is basically a QR code. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Next up, we have Rime. Could we have Rime up?
Hey everyone, how are you doing? Right. Give it a second. All right. Hey everyone, I'm Patrick. I lead growth for Rime. We're building voice AI models, mostly for customer experience and customer support automation. We're operating at really massive scale for a lot of our customers. And just so you know, my background, I'm like a vibe coding level product guy and marketer and things like that too. So I'll take you through some stuff. But let me show you just some examples of like what you might use voice agents for. So here are some of the customers that we work with. If you call Domino's Pizza, there's a very good chance you're going to hear our voices speaking back to you as you place an order with their automated ordering system. We're also in the drive-thru at Carl's Jr. If you call Verizon for support on your phone, you will likely hear our voices. We are kicking off a pilot with the Mayo Clinic for patient scheduling and things like this. We are kicking off a pilot soon with the California DMV as well, and working with a bunch of other really exciting organizations and high growth startups. In some cases, we're selling directly to large enterprises, but many of the time, we're working with like startups that are operating at really massive scale. And the other thing that I want to call out here is we've powered over 1 billion conversations so far. So let me give you a sense of like what makes our models sound a little bit different than everybody else. I'm going to play some audio clips for you so you can get a taste of it. Most people are training their text-to-speech models on audiobooks, podcasts, and YouTube data. It sounds really good in a short 10-second demo, but the thing about these data sources is this is not how people speak in a normal conversational context. Any sort of mistakes, anytime you stumble over your speech a little bit, anytime you gasp, your mouth clicks, or you take a breath, all of that gets filtered out in these sources of data. So if you train on this, it doesn't sound real. And the thing about putting these voices from some of these other TTS providers into a customer service application is people know they're talking to a bot pretty much immediately, even if it sounds good, and they hang up or they demand to talk to a human agent. And that costs your businesses money. So what we do differently, and Brooke, one of our co-founders here in the background, she's a PhD linguist and was a former professor at Harvard and taught, or she worked on the Amazon Alexa team. And we have a recording studio in the city, and we bring in regular everyday people. We record them speaking, and that forms the basis of how we train our models. So just to give you a sense of what our models sound like and why they sound different, I wanted to provide that color, but here are some examples.
So, when I first came to the United States, I didn't.
You know that thing where like someone's just talking, but like then, bro, you know you gotta watch your step because if you don't, bad stuff can happen. I swear, like boom.
Well, I just don't know what to say.
Gosh, that's a tough one. And you want to know the worst thing? After he spilled his beer on my girl, he didn't even bother to buy her a drink.
So these are all TTS. These are all machine-generated speech examples. If you go back to our homepage, we can let you eavesdrop.
Color's gonna take a few hours,
Some
but I think I can
conversations.
squeeze you in next week with Ryan.
Ryan?
So the other thing I was doing there is I was playing with the phone filter on and off. So these voices are going to sound quite different whether you're listening to them in the browser or on a phone as well. So it's worth kind of thinking about as you guys build your applications. So now let's talk about how you can actually build with this stuff. So if you sign up on Rime, you can get $100 in credits, absolutely free to start building. In the spirit of like moving fast and breaking things and being a startup, this is updated before the pricing updates go live. So I'm going to share some my contact info at the end so you can email me and I'll give you the credits. Or if you signed up next week, you'll get the credits. Once you're in the dashboard, you can generate speech. We'll give you some kind of sample clips. There's a lot of stuff you can do in here. But one of the things I want to call out is we've got some really easy starter code templates with two popular open source orchestration platforms, LiveKit and PipeCat. And I'm going to take you through some of the LiveKit examples here. So here is the open source kind of forkable repo to build these agents, and I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like in action. You can just clone this repo and get running in just a couple minutes. When you're actually in here, here's the Python code for what these agents will look like. When you're interacting with those agents on our site, like we are using LiveKit to orchestrate, and we're hosting the agents, the Python agents, in render. But there's a lot of different ways that you can build these applications, and I'm happy to chat with you afterwards on some of the specifics of deploying voice agent applications. But it's pretty simple code. And here is where it gets kind of interesting. When you're giving the configurations to make these agents, in addition to kind of some basic API parameters for the TTS, if you provide some kind of personality information in the LLM prompt here, so like here's one of the LLM prompts for one of our characters. You're a chill girl from San Francisco. You're into graphic design and art, astrology and tarot. You should be sarcastic. You should stutter a little bit from time to time. You should laugh and chuckle and things like this. So if you add some of these things to your LLM prompts in collaboration with the Rime voices, you're going to get really much more realistic results. And just to make it easy for people to explore this stuff, so we've created this design voice prompts platform where you can design some of these prompts. So here, let's say you've got a drive-through pancakes use case. You can come enrich it. And we're going to give you some kind of, this is standard stuff here, but like, you should greet the customer. Here's the greeting and things like this. And then, here's some of the more interesting stuff that like we recommend adding to the LLM prompts as well. Some of the kind of like typical phrases and personality information for these voices. So here I'm going to come in and switch it over to an Australian voice, Marlu, and I'll just start testing. And to prevent mic feedback hell, I'm going to not actually speak to it, but I'll let you listen.
Welcome to Drive-Through Pancakes. We're so glad to see you today. We have a delicious selection of pancakes for you.
So anyway, you get the idea. This is a great playground, and then you can copy and paste these into your config files and get building with them. So let me show you just an example of what this is working. So here, when you have got this running locally, you can just run this in the console. You can talk to the agents there as well.
Yo, what's up, dude? Paulie here. What?
So it's interrupting it with the feedback, but you get the idea. So it's super easy to get up and running. You can get a voice agent working in just a couple minutes. And I guarantee you, if you use the Rime voices, it's going to sound unbelievably realistic, more than anything else you guys have heard. So if you want those free credits, sign up at rime.ai. Just email me at patrick@rime.ai, and I'll apply those credits for you all. So feel free to take a quick picture if you'd like. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Patrick. Next up, we have Telnyx.
How's the demo buffet going, guys? How does it feel? Enjoying so far? Pretty good demos, I must say. My name is Sonam. I work as a developer advocate at Telnyx, and I will talk to you about Telnyx after I give the demo. So today I'm going to show a voice AI agent, and I'm going to call on a number that's associated with this agent, and I'm going to have it report a bug, which will then be shown on my Jira dashboard. Let's hope the demo works.
Hi, I'm your Jira bug reporter. How can I help you today?
Hi, I want to report a bug.
Before we get started with reporting the bug, would you like to know the list of Jira projects you have access to, or would you like to check the status of your current user account?
No, I just want to report a bug.
Great. Which Jira project should this bug go in? For example, you might have... Could you please specify the Jira project key for this bug? For example, you might have DR, Portal, VoiceA, or DevRel.
AIINT.
Thanks. Now, what's the bug? Could you give me a short summary?
The documentation API examples seem to be broken.
Got it. Can you describe what happened in detail?
Anytime I try to access the documentation website, it's just not loading.
Thank you for the details. What's the priority of this bug? Is it low, medium, major, or critical?
Critical.
Let me confirm the details. Project Dmytro summary. The documentation API examples seem to be broken. Description, anytime I try to access the documentation website, it's just not loading. Priority, critical. Should I go ahead and create this issue?
Sure, please go ahead.
I tried to create the issue, but it seems there was a problem. It looks like the project INT does not exist, or you might not have access to it. Your bug report was the documentation API examples seem to be broken in the project. Fine. Would you like to try reporting another bug or something else?
The project name is AIINT.
Let's try that again with the correct project key. Project AINT summary, the documentation API examples seem to be broken. Description, anytime I try to access the documentation website, it's just not loading. Priority, critical. Should I proceed with creating this issue in the AINT project?
Yes, please.
Perfect. I've created the issue AINT 1278 in the AINT project. You can view it here. Would you like to report another bug?
No, thank you. Goodbye. Okay, so it took me at least 2 tries to get the project name right, but now let's see if it has got it. Well, I'm gonna refresh this. Okay. Aha, there you go. So this is what it showed. So it reported the bug. It took just a little bit here and there. Maybe, I don't know, sometimes it's the background noise or something that might go wrong. But when I corrected it and when I mentioned that, okay, this is the project name, that's when it understood and then it created the project issue right here. Now, going back to what Telnyx is. So we are a voice AI agent platform. And traditionally, we started out as a telecom company. So we provide different telephony services. And the number that I just called, which was associated with the agent, that is something that you can purchase from Telnyx. And all what you need to build a voice AI agent, you can get it on Telnyx. So once you sign up, you land here. You go to AI assistance, and this is the Jira bug reporter that I just called. If I click here, this is where, and this is a no code. We also have API access. So you get options for different LLMs, voice models such as Rime that Patrick just showed you. And you can buy numbers and all of, since we own the infrastructure, which is why the latency is very low for these agents. Now, in respect to time, I'm gonna go ahead and share this particular QR code where you can scan and sign up and build your own voice agents. And for any more questions, I'll be here. Talk to me later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonam. Next up, we have Retrieval AI. Retrieval AI, please.
Thank you, guys. I'm Arjun. This is Bhavani. We're the co-founders of Retriever AI, a AI web agent platform to automate tasks, vibe scrape data sets from the web, as well as like integrate APIs and MCP servers within your own browser. So we come in various form factors like a Chrome extension, a cloud platform, API, and I can just do a quick demo of like, hey, go add all the hosts here on this event on LinkedIn. So we can take actions in the browser, extract data to Google Sheets, take multi-tab actions, and split up like a long horizon task into like sub-agents executing on parallel tabs in your browser. So the best part is you don't need to like look at it. It can run in the background. You can do your own thing. And we just recently launched, while it runs, I'll do like a brief explainer on our new API platform. So we can trigger executions in the cloud, or you can remote control your own browser extension as via API. So we use Google Sheets to coordinate between steps. So it's like it first writes like, hey, I need to go through these names, and then spins up the sub-agents to execute in parallel that write back to this Google Sheet to coordinate the sub-agents. So in parallel, it's searching for all of these people on LinkedIn. So you can imagine the time savings, and you can even trigger this remotely via the API. So just like a simple curl command, like, hey, go to chatgpt.com and extract the citations for this search on top restaurants. So a lot of people are using us for AEO, all of this analysis, where you literally need an agent to put in the input, wait for the response, and extract back this data. So I can, I think it's almost done. Yeah, it's like figuring out all these people and doing that. And we also come as a MCP server. So you can copy paste this URL we give you here, the MCP URL, just put it into Claude or any other agent, and you'll be able to then get those other apps to take actions in your browser. Like, so from a Slack bot, you could be like, hey, go file this Jira ticket. Yeah, so it's, I think, some of them, I think I'm out of the connections or some issues. It's okay. I want to go to the next part of the demo where we can trigger like the Chrome extension remotely. So it's like, hey, this is a curl command of getting the open browser tabs. So give all of these browser tabs. And we can go next step, right? Like, so in Firecrawl, for example, LinkedIn URLs won't work. So you can't get the browser context. You can't get like the markdown for this. So we recently launched a new API to give you the accessibility trees, like the smart DOM trees we construct for our agent to take action on the pages. So you can get it from.
So essentially, what we did is we made your browser into an API controlled by our extension with zero work on your end. Like back in the day, or even everyone today, if they want to control or talk to the extensions on the browser, they open up like WebSocket port, which makes your browser prone to malicious attacks by different sites. But we don't do any of those. We natively like send a message to invoke the retriever extension on your device, and we are giving you retriever API endpoints, and you can put in your scripts or curl command like it and ask retriever to do the tasks on your own browser or scrape page data on your own browser with zero setup.
So compared to like the markdown you get from Firecrawl, Gina, our trees that we construct is much more comprehensive, includes a ton more information. So if you're using that for your agents, etc., you could replace our DOM trees with your markdown. So in addition, I'll run the other command where it's like, hey, go to ChatGPT, search for top Indian restaurants, and get back the citations. So this triggered our browser, our agent to open this in the background. Like doesn't even need to be open, and it launched the query to top Indian restaurants, and it's going to extract the citation references so you can measure AEO and see what is being referenced. And after it's done, it will just close by itself, and you'll get the data back.
Yeah, no AI agent out there in the world is capable of talking to every single website, including modern React apps and your traditional old websites, and getting the data end to end for you. Here, like this is the real data of like, yeah, getting like AI resources and everything like on the fly without you manually typing, crawling, everything.
And so this is all with your own browser, using sites that are walled, that are inaccessible, and you can use our cloud platform to scale up. We launch thousands of cloud browsers if you have, so this is the API you can use.
Yeah. So if you don't want to run things on your own browser and want to spin up thousands of browsers on the cloud, you can use our API platform. The documentation is right up there. So this is the first basic scrape API, which gets the page data straight for you, and you can consume it as like a context to your LLM's building stuff. Or like if you want to build your own apps on top of it. I've also like published the demo of like us versus Firecrawl as well as Parallel, and we beat all of them in like getting very accurate data. So in no time on this like Reddit page, it got all the top like what are the articles, like what are the number of comments, everything end to end. Not just the scraping, we also have the agentic API on Cloud Exposed. You can give any complex action of like apply to these 5 jobs using my resume and tell me when it's done, or like deep crawl and get all the data that you want. So end to end agentic automation via API.
Thank you, guys. Happy to take questions after.
Thank you. Next up, we have Memverge.
Okay, finally it's working. Hello everyone, my name is Gauri. I'm a lead evangelist and a developer advocate at Memverge. And today I'm going to talk about MemMachine, which is a memory layer for your AI agents to make your AI workflows stateful. Um, I'm going to run quickly through this. So MemMachine sits between the users and your foundational models or AI assistants. Instead of the user query going straight to the LLMs or AI agents, it goes through our memory layer so that every query that is sent to the agent is more enriched with relevant context. You can think of it as an advanced form of context engineering and RAG. Um, Currently, we are an open source project and we are leading the scoreboard for Locomo, which is the leading benchmark for testing accuracy and recall of AI memory layers. So, going back to this for a second, we can integrate with MCP, RESTful API, and Python SDK. Speaking of RESTful API, I have a demo to show you all. Um, so we created this using Sampleapp. This is a sample app that is using our REST APIs. And as we saw earlier today, the way this works is it gives you a guide of how to set up your app. So it tells you about which dependencies to install. It even shows you the files that it is using to install dependencies. It shows you how to set up the endpoint. So basically, this guide tells you exactly what code to write and what changes to make. So let's say machine is running locally on your laptop, then you can change this memory URL to your local host. If it is running on your EC2 instance, you can change it to EC2. And this guide tells you exactly where to make changes just to make your life easier because not everyone is a front end developer. So, like I said, we created this sample app using Sampleapp. And let's get into the demo of what exactly it is that my machine does. Um, so, um, we are model agnostic. That means we work with all of the models. In this example app, we have OpenAI models, we have Gemini models. We also work with Anthropic models, basically all models. I'm going to start an example session and paste some information. And the way this demo works is on the left-hand side, we will get a response that is enriched with memory. And on the right-hand side, we will get a response that we would get without a memory layer. So right now we are using GPT 4.1 mini. I said that, oops, I said that my name is Gauri. I'm a developer advocate at Memverge. We are hosting a hackathon. with Neo4j, and here are some details of the hackathon. And the call to action was help me write a content for the Luma page of this hackathon. And then I got an answer of what to write on Luma. Then I can start a new session, and maybe I can switch the model to Gemini Flash. And I can be like, this is a new day. I'm a very busy person, so I don't keep a track of what I'm working on. So I say something like, what was I working on? And we should get two different answers, hopefully. Okay, it's typing. So yeah, this one remembers. It looks like I was working on a Luma page for an upcoming event. And then it also remembers the details of the event. And then this side doesn't really know what I was working on. So it just gives me some clueless answer. So yeah, this is how you can make your AI agents more stateful by retaining memory across sessions, across models, over a long period of time. And then if we have a few minutes, I would also like to show another thing which was hidden, but now we have time, so I'll just show it to you. We have one of the ways we integrate with other platforms is through MCP server. And here what we have is we have integrated Machine with ChatGPT itself. So here I'm talking about a Singapore trip that I'm planning in 2026. I said that I've made reservations at a hotel, and all of this is happening in ChatGPT with Machine running on my laptop and connected to ChatGPT with an MCP endpoint. And then I have also connected Machine with Claude using MCP as well. And I asked something like, what do you know about my trip in 2026? And then it looks for the memory through MCP, and it knows that I'm planning a trip to Singapore. So this way you can basically share memory and context across different productivity tools, different AI tools that you use. And another good thing about Machine is we are open source. So please feel free to join our community. You will get details about our project, our GitHub. Feel free to use our playground. That's the one that I showed earlier. It's Hugging Face Spaces, and you can check it out. Please do also join our Discord community. We are very active and growing very rapidly. And if you have any questions, I'll be around. Thank you.
Thank you. For the second last demo, we have Jack from Subconscious. Jack, please.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think I do actually. All right, I'm going to share right from the browser here. Who here has heard of Subconscious before? I would guess no one, because we are a very small company based in Boston, Massachusetts, based on my co-founder's research. And we actually fit really well into the puzzle of all the startups who've pitched tonight. We're an opinionated framework for how to build agents, and we integrate with all sorts of tools. And really the main basis of our platform is, based on my co-founder's research, a really generalized way for a model to prune its own context window as it's processing. So we provide a really simple way for developers to build agents without having to deal with kind of these messy details about how do you manage context, what model should you use, when should you call tools at what point, and really allow developers to focus on what matters, which is what do you actually want this thing to do and what are the tools that you plug into it. So we lean heavily on these companies that provide great interfaces to tools, provide authentication for MCPs. I think Temporal, we're actually working to try and integrate that right now to make some of these tool calling more durable. So we'd love to talk after that. But at a high level, this is a brief overview of basically how we're able to do that. We post-trained a series of models to think in a particular format. and then have an opinionated runtime that knows that format and prunes the context window as it's processing. So we extend the context window 10, 20 times longer than what models are and allow you to build agents really simply. So that you take me a little more seriously here too. When we came out of stealth in July, we were the #1 paper on Hugging Face, and we've gotten a lot of good inbound from that, and mostly worked with larger companies. But we're releasing our kind of developer SDK in the next couple weeks, so this is a really great time to demo. And if you sign onto our platform now, we have this playground that you can experiment with prompts. And like I said, really the only two inputs to build an agent using our platform are what do you want this to do and what are the tools. So here we've connected it to a parallel search tool, an EXA tool. We used to have u.com, but we'll connect that back in. And a really basic workflow about looking for events. And we'll see this agent start to process, and you'll see basically how it starts to process this information. And again, we've only given it a prompt, a set of tools, and what it's really doing is generating one big JSON object. This is all happening as one large inference call that is using tools, pruning its own context window, and really being driven by the underlying language model. So we'll kind of let this process. This is how you interact with us right now. Just put in an API key, plug in the tools that you want to use. We kind of piggyback off the OpenAI SDK right now, but we're about to release our own. It really is as simple as saying, these are my tools, this is what I wanted to do, and this spins off a long-running agent that can run anywhere from 1 minute to about 30 minutes. This is our very, very V0 Python SDK also that allows you to do much the same thing. And for an example here, just put together a really simple collab where you would install that SDK, define a couple tools here, maybe something that can go deeper on a page and something I can search on a page. And this is really all the code you need to spin off that agent. What are the instructions you're giving it? What are the tools you're giving it? Go off and run, and you're able to peek into the full reasoning trace of what's happening behind the scenes. That's really the high level. Would love for you to check it out. If you go to our website, you can sign up for the platform. If you sign up, I will reach out to you for a conversation. You don't have to talk to me, but I'll send you an email. And would love to chat with anyone who's building tools for agents to consume, because we consume a lot of tools. These MCP platforms, the bigger companies we're working with are all about authentication and safe use of tools. And you'll hear a lot more from us in January, but getting a sneak preview now. So thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, we have Auth0 for the final demo. And also, before that, Auth0 is also the sponsor for tonight's meal and dinner. So the food has probably just arrived. So please stay for the entire demo and go for the food after that. Fred, please.
Yeah, I'm hungry too, so I'm not going to take very long. Rip through these. All right, hi everyone. Okay, yeah, so I'm a developer advocate for Auth0, and I'm just going to show a couple quick, super fast demos. So, in fact, let me just jump there. So first, Auth0 has a framework for AI agents, right? So user auth, agent auth, token vault, where you can basically allow your agent to access a whole suite of tools, basically third party, first party. But the important thing is, that agent never gets the creds. It basically, that all goes in the vault, and based on what the agent is asked to do, they're basically given very short-lived credentials. So yeah, let's just jump and take a look. So here we go. Yeah, so here I'm going to go. Basic chatbot, right? So I'll log in with my demo user. And okay, yeah, I have that one-hand typing thing. I should have this voice control. So let's see, what can you do? Thanks, Sean. What can you do for me? All right. Yeah, so answering questions, email management, calendar, online shopping, document retrieval. So this stuff is coming from tools. So it might be something simple like a calculator. You need to show that. Well, okay. Let's just do that. Let's just quickly show. There we go. Developer tools. All right, awesome. Okay, so actually, let's just jump to something more interesting. So retrieval. Okay, send an email. Oh wait, first let's see who I am. What do you know about me? Okay. Was never good at typing. All right, so we've asked it what. That's cool. Don't worry about it. So here we see that the agent itself is not answering. It's basically triggered a tool. Okay, my user is called freeloader, and it's got a picture here. Okay, that doesn't look like me. Don't you guys hate that? Fakers. And then, good. So it knew something about me. Okay, awesome. Now let's see if it can do maybe a web search. So show me articles about Sampleapp.ai. See, no one else did that, right? Got to give some love to the hosts. Okay, search the web about Sampleapp.ai. There we go. Maybe I should have tested this first, but I'm confident. Okay. See, it was definitely not trained on you. It searched and see that probably over here. Yes, nice. Okay, let's now try the email trick. So send, okay, maybe not send, compose an email to thoughtpoet@gmail.com with the subject, don't fail me now. Okay. And I'm not nervous. That's not what the typos are coming from. And message, let's go. All right. Okay, it's composed an email, but is that true? Let's go take a look. Let's refresh. Let's look at our drafts. There we go. Well, okay, let's look at the time. I'm a tricky guy. Let's make sure I'm not lying. 7:14 p.m. Seems up and up, right? Okay. So it sent an email. All right. Now you see it's just doing things. It's not even asking me anything, but let's go to a different account, the actual one that got the email sent to me. Let me log in. And one of the things you'll see is that, let's see, send an email to, I don't remember my email address. Let's jump over here. All right. Anyway, forget that. Okay, so yeah, so here, I'll just even send it to myself, thoughtpoet@gmail.com, because I don't remember my demo email. Okay, with the subject, almost done, and the message, we're good. All right. Okay, actually, I forgot I already authenticated, but if I did something for the first time, let's say, okay, it will generally prompt for the kind of authentication and give the scope, but I forgot when I ran this earlier, I already kind of did that party trick, so awesome. Okay, so, and there's, we can skip the rag search, so as I promised, I'll be quick. So that's the Auth0 for AI agents. And I'll just jump to this real quick. If you want to, this one on the right is basically kind of a link to the APIs. It's now in general availability. And now we'll quickly look at Auth for MCP, which is our, we'll skip, which is our basically new product. So here's we've already kind of seen a very nice demo like this from Scalekit. I quite liked it. So we won't belabor this too much. I'm going to log in here, and it's another project management type thing. You know, we're very original here. So here we're just seeing, okay, I created this earlier, and you know, task, right? So let me just move this task somewhere else to do, and then I'm going to run the MCP agent that is going to basically be able to view and do all that stuff. So let's say, show me my tasks, right? And I've never had a demo fail on me, so I'm not worried. Okay, let's see. In progress, it says. Let me go back here and, okay. Well, it's not in progress, but I should refresh. Took some quick starts here. Okay, one more time. Refresh now. Hey, refresh. Okay. Okay, well, that's in progress. Okay. Create a new task called Let's Eat. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, and let's go see it actually happen here. Great. There we go. Hey, worked. So let's eat. And thank you very much.
All right, so thank you everyone for coming down for today's event. So from Sampleapp.ai side, if you would like to try any of our demos that we showed just now, you can just scan this QR code. It's free for you to try it out for U.com, Scalekit, and Memverge. And that's all that I have for tonight. Thank you everyone for coming down. The food is all the way at the back. For speakers, please stay behind and let's take a photo at the front. Thank you.